You finally got it. The promotion you worked 80-hour weeks for, the relationship you manifested, the body you punished yourself into, the validation you craved. You're standing there at the finish line you've been running toward for years. And instead of the peace you were promised, there's just silence, a quiet panic, an emptiness that shouldn't be there. You think, wait, is this it? If you've ever stood at the top of a mountain you spent years climbing and felt absolutely nothing, this video will explain why. And more importantly, it'll show you why chasing the next mountain won't fix it either. Let's start with what's actually happening in your brain. Because this isn't some mystical concept. This is neuroscience. It's called the hedonic treadmill. And it's the reason why every single achievement in your life has followed the exact same pattern. Anticipation, excitement, brief satisfaction. And then, nothing. Back to baseline. Sometimes lower than before. You got the car, felt amazing for 3 weeks. Now it's just the thing you sit in during traffic. You hit your goal weight, took the photo, posted it, got the likes. And within 72 hours, you were back to finding flaws in the mirror. You landed the relationship you thought would complete you. And 6 months later, you're wondering if there's someone better out there. Here's the trap. Your ego doesn't measure in absolutes. It measures in relatives. You're never successful. You're only more or less successful than the person next to you, or your past self, or some imaginary standard you created. This is why someone making $50,000 can feel rich, until they meet someone making $500,000. Then they feel poor, even though nothing about their actual life changed. The ego is a comparison engine, and comparison is suffering with extra steps. But here's where it gets worse. The ego is structurally addicted to the future. It doesn't live in I am enough. It lives in I will be enough when I get the promotion, when I find the one, when I have 6-pack abs, when I hit 1 million subscribers. Notice something? You've been saying, I'll be happy when your entire life. And every single time you got the thing, the goalpost moved. It's not that you're bad at picking goals. It's that the ego's job is to keep you seeking. That's its function. If it ever let you rest, it would dissolve. And it will do anything to survive. So it creates desire after desire after desire. An endless conveyor belt of not enough yet. You're not broken. You're not ungrateful. You're not doing life wrong. You're just trying to satisfy something that was designed to never be satisfied. Now here's where this gets interesting and uncomfortable. What if the emptiness isn't because something's missing? What if the emptiness is the ego? Let me explain. The ego is not a thing. It's a story, a collection of thoughts about who you are. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm someone who has their life together. I'm the person who always succeeds. I'm not like those people. We've spent our entire lives building this character, this identity. And then we confuse the character with what we actually are. It's like watching a movie and forgetting you're not the character on screen. You are the screen. The awareness watching the whole thing unfold. But the ego convinced you that you are the struggling protagonist. And now you're trying to make that fictional character feel permanently real, important, and safe. Here's the impossible project you've been attempting. You're trying to make a construct, a mental fabrication, feel complete. You're trying to make your shadow solid. You're trying to build a permanent self out of impermanent thoughts. And it will never work. Because the ego is a wound pretending to be a person. It's the sense of separation pretending to be an identity. Think about it. When have you felt most alive? Most whole? Not when you were achieving. When you were being. That moment in nature where you forgot about yourself entirely. That flow state where you disappeared and there was just presence. That conversation where time stopped and there was just connection. That creative moment where the art made itself. You've had these moments. Everyone has. And what did they all have in common? The absence of the ego. The absence of the voice saying, "Am I doing this right? How do I look? What will people think? Is this enough?" In those moments, there was no you trying to be someone. There was just awareness, presence, being. And you didn't feel empty then, did you? Because the part of you that's aware, the consciousness underneath all the thoughts and stories, is not seeking anything. It's complete by nature. It's been complete this entire time. The emptiness you feel is the ego screaming for attention, pretending to be you. The cruel irony: every time you try to fill the emptiness with an achievement, a relationship, a possession, or validation, you're feeding the very thing that's creating it. You're using the problem as the solution. The ego convincing you that you're incomplete is the incompleteness. There's nothing actually missing. There never was. You've just been so identified with the character that you forgot you're the awareness watching it perform. Okay, so what do you actually do with this? Because I know what's happening right now. Your ego just went, "Great insight, cool philosophy, but how do I fix this? How do I become enlightened? How do I do this perfectly?" See? There it is. The ego turned awakening into another achievement to chase. Another way to feel inadequate until you get it. That's the trap. But here are some practical shifts that can help you see through the mechanism in real time. Start noticing when you think, "I'll be okay when." Write it down. Keep a list. "I'll be happy when I get the promotion." "I'll feel confident when I lose 10 pounds." "I'll be at peace when I find the relationship." And then, when you get the thing, track what happens. Notice how long the satisfaction lasts. Notice how quickly the goalpost moves. Notice how the ego immediately finds the next thing to chase. You've probably told yourself, "I'll be complete when," 100 times in your life. And you believed it every single time. The pattern won't break until you see the pattern. This isn't toxic positivity. I'm not telling you to gaslight yourself into pretending everything's perfect. I'm talking about genuine presence with what's already here. The ego can't operate in gratitude. It can't function in the present moment. Because gratitude says, "This is enough." And the ego's entire existence depends on "not enough yet." Try this. Right now, look around. Notice 3 things you can see, 3 things you can hear, 3 things you can feel. Just notice them. No judgment, no story. just presence. In this moment, when you're fully here, is anything actually wrong? Not in your story about the future, not in your anxieties, but right here, right now. The ego lives in past and future. Awareness lives in now. Here's the shift that changes everything. You can still create, achieve, grow, build, contribute. But there's a massive difference between creating from lack versus creating from fullness. Creating from lack sounds like, I need this to prove I'm worthy. I need this to be enough. I need this so people will see me. Creating from fullness sounds like, this wants to be expressed through me. I'm sharing because it's alive in me. I'm building because I can, not because I need to. Can you feel the difference? One is desperate. One is free. One is the ego seeking validation. One is awareness expressing itself. Same actions, completely different energy. Every day, just 10 minutes, ask yourself this. What's here when I'm not trying to be someone or get somewhere? Don't try to answer with your mind. Just sit with the question. Notice the space underneath the striving. Notice the awareness that's watching all the thoughts about achievement and lack. Notice what's here when the story goes quiet. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to become anything. You don't have to fix yourself. Just notice what's already here when you stop performing. Here's the truth that might save you decades. The emptiness you feel isn't because you're missing something. It's because you've been trying to fill a mirage. The ego is an optical illusion. And you've been throwing achievements, relationships, and possessions at it, wondering why they pass right through. You are not incomplete. You never were. You just believed a voice in your head that said you were. And that voice, the ego, will keep you seeking forever if you let it. Because seeking is how it survives. The moment you stop feeding the story that you're not enough, you realize you never weren't. You don't find yourself by adding more. You find yourself by seeing through what was never real to begin with. The awareness reading this, the presence hearing these words right now, the consciousness that's been watching this entire video. That's what you are. And it's never felt empty. It's been whole the entire time. Just watching the ego pretend otherwise. Welcome home. And if you want more content that cuts through the noise and gets to what actually matters, subscribe, because we're just getting started. Oh, and one last thing. Your ego just thought, okay, but how do I do this perfectly? Did I understand it right? Am I getting it? Watch it. That's the trap. There's nothing to achieve here, just something to notice.